Hi there, it's Sandy from Spiral Crafts and Workshops, and today I'm going to take you through some top tips on how to shape your wire when you're making sculptures like this little hummingbird, or maybe something like this bee with chicken wire, or maybe something like this swan out of chicken wire and a bit of wire as well. Now the tutorials for the bee and the swan are already on the channel, so they're linked down below, so you can find those there. And if you want to subscribe and hit the notification button as well while you're there, go ahead. Now when you're making sculptures like this, you want to have nice smooth curves and nice crisp edges, but the question is, how do you do that? Well, I'm going to start with the one thing that is the most essential item for anybody doing wire art, and that is pliers. Now I've got flat nose pliers and I've got round nose pliers, and these are the two that I use the most, and if you do wire art you will always use these, or some form of plier anyway. And here's a close-up of what these two particular ones look like. Now I use the flat nosed, and if I grab a piece of wire over here, so the flat nosed are really good for doing right angles. So if I'm after a right angle and it's a small item, I'll absolutely head for my flat nose pliers. If I want to do something a bit more rounded, and you can see here on the hummingbird there's some sort of jagged edge, well, rounded edges down the back of his wings, something like that you would actually do with your round nose pliers. So you put your pliers in and you would mould your wire. I'm going to go all the way around actually like that. So you would create little loops or little bends using your round nose pliers. Now if you wanted to make larger loops than that, than what you've got on your pliers, then you start having to look around for something different. Now you can get jewellery making pliers that have got steps in them that do larger loops, those are great. But if you don't want to buy a pair of those, then have a look at a marker pen. So if you've got a marker pen that's of the right sort of diameter for what you want to make, you can put your wire onto the marker pen and just bend it round like that. Take your pen out and you've made a lovely smooth loop here that will be quite difficult to make with the pliers like this because it's quite large, but to make it that smooth will be hard to do with something that's smaller. So the marker pen just fits in and does the right job that you want it to. If you want to go larger again, then you've got to start looking around for the house for some other items. So what sort of things can you use? Well, funnily enough, I found a takeaway bowl. It was a microwave meal actually, sort of takeaway instant meal thing that looked like this. It's a bit battered now because it's had quite a lot of use. And it's something you would normally throw away, but you start looking around the house at items with a slightly different eye sometimes, and then this sort of transforms itself to become this. So this shape, or a bowl shape in general, can be used to make mushrooms. So you've got a mushroom that you can make out of a shape like this, but also you can make a turtle back. So the shell for the turtle was actually made using this bowl. And I took the bowl out before sealing it up down his chest in the middle, but that was used to form a really nice smooth shell on the top of the turtle, because it's difficult with a set of pliers or any other method to create that really nice smooth sort of sculpture shape. Now the turtle itself, he's got the head, but he's also got the legs, and the legs, especially these, were done using a piece of tubing like this. Now this is a metal tube, and this is the shaft of a solar light that goes outside in the garden, but the lights had broken and I was looking at these thinking these would be quite useful. Now the reason I looked at it like that was because these are metal. If you're looking for things to use to mould around, then you really want something that's metal or that is plastic or that is wood. You can get wooden dowels as well that you can buy that are quite good for moulding around. You want to do that because you want something solid that you can press against and it won't distort. You do have to be careful with things like this, because if I press against this, it distorts. So it's kind of, you have to, you know, treat it gently and just make sure as you go along that you're not distorting your shape. But yes, you want something very solid, so nothing inflatable, and you don't really want glass or ceramic, because if they break when you're pressing onto them, it could be really quite dangerous. So keep with wood, keep with metal, and keep with plastic, and you shouldn't go too far wrong. Now in that department I've also got, this was a Christmas present, so this is a metal tin that it came in, but it's a nice sphere shape in a different size. So that for me, I kept half of this because it's quite useful for moulding against. The other thing I've got is this egg shape, and this had children's toys in it of all things. So the toys went to a good home, and I kept it because you've got one shape on this side that you can use to mould against, and a different shape on this side that you can mould against here as well. So that was kind of a double-headed tool, and I have got a big bag with all these things in them. Another thing you can use is cookie cutters. Now these are metal cookie cutters. If you've got some hard plastic ones, that's possible as well. But again, these are, they're for curves. You can do points, and you've got the different sizes as well, so you can select the one that you want depending on what you're trying to do. And the final one in the curve, or not quite the final one in the curve department, this is just a piece of tubing. It's plumber's tubing for downpipes and stuff. You could use guttering and things like that as well. And again, just keep them around, because look at them with a slightly different eye. They're a different size. I hadn't got this size, so I wanted something this size. So that's got in my tool bag as well. The last curved item, because my tool bag's getting even bigger as we go along, is this, which is a hanging basket frame. So your plants would go in here, have your chains up like this, but looking at the bottom, which is where I was coming from, put your chicken wire over the top and then press it down to mould it down, so you can get a nice curved surface, or even just part of a curved surface if that's all you want, on larger sculptures as you're going up. So the larger the sculpture, you tend to get even bigger things into your tool bag for moulding against. If you're doing edges, you want them to be nice and crisp, and the thing I would use for that is, I've got a metal ruler. So you'd use your ruler, place it flat with your chicken wire underneath, and then you would fold. So if you do it that way around, you would fold your chicken wire up along the edge. Now that would be really difficult to get accurate. To get that a nice sort of lined up crease like that into your chicken wire will be virtually impossible to do with a set of pliers. So that's when you start looking for rulers. I've got various sizes of rulers that I can use, and they're always useful to have in your toolbox for when you're making things where you want to fold something either at right angles or even further over, and even flat. If you want to actually double up your chicken wire, you can use that. But you can also use it on individual wires as well. So you just put your wire next to it and just pull it around and mould it around the edge of the ruler. So that can be done as well. The final, and probably one of the most essential pieces of kit that you've got, are your hands. Now when you're moulding with your hands, please, please, please always wear gloves. If you can get ones with leather on the back, all the better. But always wear gloves when you're moulding with your hands. The tutorials for the Swan and the bee, I use my hand. So you've got your hand in a fist, the chicken wire around it, and then you're pushing from the other side to actually mould it into a circular shape, a dome shape. But yes, wear your gloves when you do that, because you do not want to bleed everywhere and wreck your hands. And that's it for today's video. If you like the video, then please do subscribe and hit the notification buttons. And if there's anything else you want to see a tutorial on, drop us a comment below and I'll get back to you and give you a reply. Thank you for listening.